Greetings, welcome to this video of me washing ware, and you probably won't see the top part of my head for this video because I'm headless. It's back. So what I can do is wash the ware, just put in the water, and I have the pan there ready. Get your tea towel or take the tea towel or cup towel. One's called a cup towel, one's called a tea towel. I'm not sure which is which. Alright, there you go, try that. Over there. Very important to dry. Very important to dry the ware. Wash the ware straight away after eating food, otherwise they would stick on the plate. And it makes it harder to dry it then. So immediately after you finish food, you should wash and dry the ware, not like I do, which I wait a couple hours and then I wash them. So I'll be doing more of these videos and talking about brains, just talking about random coming down over my head. Well, I love washing ware. I find it very calming, especially when I have a lot of pain in my heart. It's just nice just to relax and dry ware. But most people, they get very frustrated when they wash ware. It's just they get very angry because they don't like it. But I'm the polar opposite. I'm someone that if you ask me to wash your ware, I won't hesitate to do so, because I love helping people. I love to be a service to others, and I just love water and just sound of it on the plate, and just the feel the water on the skin of the plate, texture of it. It's nice and calm feeling. I can't live in the world that people they hesitate to help each other, or they have resources they could so choose to help each other, choose not to. And a lot of it's out of fear, but if they didn't have attachments to each other, they wouldn't have to fear anything. It's because people form attachments and then they use the resources against each other, they manipulate, to control each other. But I'm someone that if you ask me just to help you and one day, and then if you don't want to see me again, I'd be totally happy with that. My main thing is just to show you the love of God and to help you be of service. So it's impossible for me to 16 hours a day to even be able to help even 10, 20 people a day, but as many people I'm able to help. But see, I do not, only thing that brings me peace is that God knows everything. So God knows at this very moment what 7.9 billion humans on the planet are doing this exact moment in time. I don't have a clue. I can only speculate. There's so much humans can do in the day. The basics is just what all humans do is poop, eat, drink, and yeah. Poop, eat, drink. It's by default, and then shower, and I'm doing now cleaning ware, or doing drying, doing clothes, cleaning. Then again, not all humans clean. Some humans they don't clean. They don't have the basic. Some people they have the abilities to do basic activities, but they choose not to out of laziness. And then there are those that unfortunately not able to wash ware or clean things because they don't have the limbs, they're missing the limbs, or due to illness they're not able to. So I am blessed by the Lord that I have hands to do this, and you should always kind of appreciate what you have, like your eyes. There's people out there that are not able to see, they're blind, so you should, no matter what small gifts you have in the morning, you should bless the Lord for that, and the fact you're still breathing, because each second there are people dying on the planet and they're drawing the last breath. it's that awareness that we sometimes get caught up in our own suffering and pain, that we fail to see other people suffering and pain. A lot of the suffering and pain is self-inflicted. Some suffering is self-inflicted, some suffering is due to sin. Well, all suffering is actually due to sin. But there's some sin that is, I would classify it as sin that is inherited, due to the fall as a species, that like the disease, illness, that's something that is out of most people's control, unless you're someone that eats low processed foods, and then if you have any health complications, that's on you. But if it's something that is kind of you're genetically disposed to due to sin, then that's different altogether. That's something that could not be prevented. Say if you have your heart is disproposed to like heart attacks, or you have a family history of people dying of having brain clots or brain injuries. Now, at last 2 years, people inject themselves with experimental jab, and many gave themselves brain clots. The Lord gave us immune system, experimental jabs that are untested, and humanity is always going to catch up because viruses are always constantly mutating. So if it takes up to like 5-10 years for a proper vaccine to treat like a certain target, a certain virus, but that the virus is constantly mutating, so humanity is always catching up. So it's kind of futile, and it's futile to be able to prevent disease. All you can do is just reduce the effects of it, but locking down entire society and weakening your immune system due to stress, it wasn't the smartest thing. Humans were social animals, social species. And all species are in some ways kind of have, even dogs and cats, the presence of humans or each other. It's just all living creatures are like that. But when you deny that to humanity, depression, suicide, or suicidation is very common. We live in a world that's screwed up already. Humanity allowing a bunch of satanic people to force inflict pain. Like, humanity knew the truth, that we're all related to the true Adam and Eve, and through Noah, and that every person you encounter is related to show a bit of love, compassion, even forgiveness or empathy towards others. Most people just walk past someone on the street and not talk to them. I would talk to anyone regardless of their sins, just to tell them about the love of God and to show them a bit of love. Just have a chat with them. But there's I've learned you have people who have resources, they could sort of choose to help others, but it's been wise, because if you are going to help someone, my advice is, just from my own experience, to verify, to make sure that that they're actually going to hostel and things, and the way to do that is just to tell them, okay, I'll help you pay for hostel, but I'm going to verify first with you, if that's okay. You must understand that I've helped people in the past that were that use on drugs, and I don't want to go to feed towards sin, because I don't really know you that well, and I don't really know your situation that well, and it's kind of people, because they are children of the devil, they are if they don't have the Holy Spirit, it's not wise to just hand out people money nitty-witty. Buy them food, give them a gospel track, but unless you know the person and the person has verified that they're actually in that genuine situation, because there's two people. There's people who are generally stuck in situation, and then there are those that lie to you, and then someone else will say something else that contradicts what they're saying, and then for me it's very hard, because when you have one person says something, another person says something, I don't know which one's telling the truth, but I know God knows. So God knows everything, so on Day of Judgment, everyone has to take accountability of what to use with God's resources, what to use with the gifts and the time that God gave them. Everyone has an appointment with their Creator, and that's the only thing that brings peace to me, that all my loved ones will in the end know the truth. So no attachment to the world, none at all. This world is hell to me. There's murder, rape, pedophilia, just complete abuse of children, the confusion of their mind, transgenderism, homosexuality, just complete killing of babies. Just the world is just completely wicked and evil. Like as the Lord said, in the last days be like the days of Noah. People be lovers of themselves. So there's increased narcissism. People constantly on social media taking photos of themselves, taking photos where they're going, taking photos of the food they're taking. Especially if you're someone that's in a profession like modelling or something that involves or music, or in general involves status. So I think the best type of work is work that helps others, works that focus on things that are temporary, like your beauty, or things are not for instance, modelling is a profession that it's only based on your appearance, but your appearance will change over time. So therefore, when your looks fade, as it all does, because we all grow old, you will just discard it, and then you spend your whole amount of your time and energy building your whole skills around your body and your looks. There's many men that uses women as their status. They get resources, and they use it kind of to buy affection off women, and then the women then, because the women tends to be raised like the one with Santa Claus and things, tend to be like magpies, and they're used it's complete tragic really, because none of them love God. Neither two of them love God, so they're unable to love each other conditionally. So if anything happens, both people are not able to forgive each other. One person uses the other, they both use each other. Truth is both them using each other, because they have attachment to each other. So it's all attachments of insecurities they have for another person, and the other person takes advantage of that. Another person takes advantage of the fact that the other person doesn't have that much resources, so they use that, or a place to stay because they're either homeless or have fun out with their family things. It's just a lot of families then just put, because of that, then they either raise their children without God, and then they're shocked and chagrined then that their children become extremely rebellious and sinful. But it's not surprising when they themselves were sinful and rebellious against God, so it's no wonder why then their children then become sinful, rebellious against God. And it's just the whole planet is full of that. There's over 7 billion humans on the planet that are either greedy, prideful, lustful, just gluttony and slothfulness abound. And I feel that every time I walk the streets. I just feel it in my soul. I see people suffering then, and people then don't even you don't see a priest going around the city spreading the gospel, telling people the truth about Christ, or even just talking to those and just talking to them. You surprised human as many people last 2 years were that social isolated each other, and that was humanity forced that. Humanity had the free will to choose not to believe a bunch of satanic tyrants or not, and just to choose instead just to completely nuke their own economy. And now they wear masks all the time, just fear. Humanity feared death. They fear things are temporary. They don't fear God. So because they don't fear God, then they do wicked and evil then, because the fear of God makes you more humble person, makes you more loving person. It makes you more precious of life. That each second, it could be your last, and so each day trying to be as much as a light to the world as you should be, and just to not have a sense of pride as well when you do a good job with things, because your work means nothing to God. It's like filthy rags with God. You should only do things in this life to bring glory to God, and not to do it out of attachments to people, out of pride in yourself that you're a good person, because no one's good, no one's perfect, we're all flawed, each one of us, especially me. I have severe anger, I have wrath issues, which the Lord helps me with. I have righteous anger as well, because this world is just so screwed up. I just have to be at peace the fact that that's the way it has to be. This world has to be fallen, because the prophecy of the Bible has to come to pass. It's going to get more worse, there's going to be more wars, there's going to be more death, there's World War III is going to happen, that's inevitable. It has to come to pass. So if you're someone that's living in Eastern Europe at the moment, the next couple of years, like Poland or Lithuania, Latvia, I would suggest for you, or even Finland, if you're anywhere near the Russian border, to kind of more go to the west, kind of immigrate to the west, because that whole place is going to become a war zone when the end of the decade. Um, Then you have Taiwan and China. So China is going to invade Taiwan. That's because Taiwanese, it's if you do your history, Taiwan was part of the nationalists with China when China had a civil war. You the communists and you the nationalists. So, but kind of culture has changed now, where most Taiwanese don't. They just see themselves as Taiwanese now, not as Chinese. So the whole thing of a united China, it doesn't. Well, my majority just want to be just Taiwan and just be Taiwanese, and just China's gone complete communists, and then you have the social credit system and everything. Then you have like the Americans are no better because they themselves have censorship as well, so they're just as bad as the Chinese, but just not as worse, but still as bad though when it comes to treating its own citizens. So they're gone worse in the sense of LGBT things and complete dysfunction of destruction of the family unit, while Chinese is just completely just lack of liberty and freedom. So that they're like both extremes, but like if Americans think they have freedom, they're kind of joking themselves, they do not. And the last 2 years is proof of that, where some states some states completely shut down the economy and they became extremely tyrannical. Like places like Australia and New Zealand became extremely tyrannical, and how they treat each other was just heartbreaking and soul crushing. And the World Health Organization now is going to like pass the thing into law now, the treaty, the pandemic treaty, so then every country then lose their sovereignty. So it's going to come to pass. So the New World Order has to come to pass. But it's crisis is a good thing for global power. It's always global. There's always a power grab when when crisis happens. It's always happened. Like World War One led to League of Nations. World War Two led to United Nations, and World War Three is going to lead to New World Order. There's to be no more nations. Like there's very few like nationalist states left on the planet. I say Russia would be one of them, and Iran and Turkey, I think, and Israel. But the majority of the world has kind of gone very globalist, and national identity, especially in Western Europe. Like Western nations isn't strong. Eastern Europe is different though, but Western Europe, they don't really have any national identity anymore. It's gone very, very globalism. So it won't be difficult for Europe. The only difference with Europe is that it's very divided due to the way of the different ways of thinking. That's why like it's impossible for Europe to unify itself, and that's been tried so many times and it's failed. So that's in prophecy as well, because Europe would never unify. So it's going to have their difference in things. So that's new. My suggestion, if you want to look up the news, don't look up the mainstream media, because they're controlled by those that run the planet, and they're not going to tell you the truth. They have their own agenda. So the best thing to do is look at both sources and then make up your own mind, and then use your observation and use your brain and see which one that reality more likely fits. That's kind of using observation. It's the gift that the Lord gives us, is to observe things, and then over time then you just see it play out. But a lot of things are beyond our understanding, but some things with humans things are going to get worse. That's the only thing I know for sure, because it has to get worse. So there's going to be more earthquakes, there's going to be more disasters, there's going to be more turmoil, suffering, pain, famine, food shortages. All this is going to come to pass. the next 5 years is going to be very difficult, and then you're going to have like the era variants, so you're going to have this type of variant, and I don't know what the name of the variants they're going to call it, but like monkeypox, and you probably have something with pigs next, or it could be something to do with the food stock, so it could be cat, or it could be another exotic creature that some other that a virus comes from, yeah, it's going to be a lot of that. That's done now. I wonder with this YouTube video, I wonder would the kind of a thing go up, because I talked about COVID a bit, and I talked about China, so talked about USA as well, and my own country of Ireland, which the whole world has kind of gone destructive, but it's sad because you have countries like fighting each other, and you have people having different identities and things, and they don't realise that we're all related to each other. So you're just people killing each other because they somehow come from one part of a different part of the planet, or a different subgroup of humanity, because they identify themselves differently due to tradition or culture or identity and things like that, and it's just absolutely absurd. The whole Ukraine and Russia war is just, it's just stupid. It's just complete stupid. You're basically relatives killing each other. It's like Cain and Abel just multiplied by 1,000,000,000. That's very much humanity is. So once you know the truth about the Lord and the truth about God, then they realise the truth of the Bible, and then it leads you to fear the Lord and be more loving and kind and caring human being. Without that, without God, we have nothing, and that's true. So anyway, thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope you and your loved ones are doing well, and whatever comes, I pray that whatever happens in the world, that the Lord may give you the strength and courage to persevere and to help you through these tough, difficult times that will happen in the future. Thanks so much for watching.